debate discussion. I like to think federalism as looking at the three levels of government, which are national, state, and local, and comparing them almost to various sizes of hamburgers. If you go to McDonald's, which I don't recommend because it's fattening and disgusting, if you look at the McDonald's, you can get, for example, a Big Mac. This biggest hamburger, probably not even the biggest one anymore, probably an Angus burger now. So you look at the biggest one and think, okay, that's our national government. It is supreme. Then you have like a double cheeseburger. That would be our state government. And the 10th Amendment lets powers trickle down to our state government. And finally, local government, call it a Happy Meal cheeseburger or what have you, that is the most localized, obviously, government that we interact with at our daily lives, and it gets its power from our state constitutions. So kind of like you look at the burgers and you squeeze them and make nasty grease, it trickles down and all to the local government. I know, great visual, right? So the Constitution establishes a federal form of government where the national government is supreme. Think of the big supreme hamburger. That is the national government, supreme. There are powers given to the national government. We have expressed and implied powers. Remember, express powers are stated specifically in the Constitution. Implied powers are powers used to carry out express powers. Again, express powers specifically stated. Implied power, vague or open-worded, that kind of gives the national government the right to interpret or believe it has the power to do something. Good example of this would be Jefferson's purchase of the Louisiana Territory from France. There was nothing in the Constitution that said the president had the power to negotiate and make this treaty, but Jefferson did it using implied powers. Powers not given to the national government are reserved for the states. That's stated in our 10th Amendment, which is part of the original Bill of Rights. This appeased the anti-federalists because they wanted states to remain supreme. Meaning, if the Constitution does not specifically say a power is a national power, like the power to regulate trade, the power to establish a budget, then it belongs to the states. State powers include setting up marriage laws, running your schools, state commerce, state roads. Powers are also denied to both the national and state governments. Okay, for example, there's no power to implement cruel and unusual punishment. That is outlawed in the 8th Amendment. Tensions still exist between the national and state governments because there's all these requirements from the federal government, but there isn't the money supplied with those requirements. Great example would be the Affordable Health Care Act. Various mandates that come down from there that the states have to accept in order to receive benefits from the Medicare, but they don't have the money to implement that. So again, our three branches of government in review are legislative, executive, judicial. And they're all involved in this chart, we say, the branch and the level of government. National supreme, state gets its powers from the 10th Amendment, local. Every level of government has these three branches. Okay? The local legislative branch could kind of be viewed as like our Board of Supervisors. This group of gentlemen, and I believe there is one woman on the Board of Supervisors, they are the ones who make county rules and ordinances. They set up our county budget. They determine what percentage of funds from the tax revenue goes towards our schools, what programs get funded, like the parks and recreational areas. They are, again, the lawmaking body for the local government. The local executive, depending on where it is in a county, the local executive would be the chairman of the Board of Supervisors. If we're looking at local like a city or a town, the local executive would be called what we view as a mayor. These local governments may hire a manager, a city or a county manager, to help carry out the process of running your local bodies of government. And then, of course, your local judicial branches. Local courts hear cases provided by the authority of the state constitution. For example, Prince William County has local courts in the city of Manassas. Let's look at our state government now. Our state legislative branch is called the VA General Assembly. We learned that it is bicameral, divided between a House of Delegates and a Virginia Senate. This is the lawmaking body, and they make a 2-year budget, biennial, for the state of Virginia. All powers given to our state governments come from our 10th Amendment. Our state chief executive is called a governor. The governor of Virginia serves a 4-year term. Currently, when I'm doing this presentation to you right now, our governor is Republican Bob McDonnell. That could change tomorrow. It will change tomorrow, actually. And in the state executive branch includes the lieutenant governor and the attorney general. And then, of course, there is an entire system of state courts. The highest court in the state of Virginia is the Virginia Supreme Court. And now, looking at our national government, the legislative branch is called Congress. It is bicameral. Upper House, United States Senate. Lower House, the House of Representatives. Upper House Senate has 100 members, 2 per state, and that is equal representation. The House is based off of state's population. Every state gets at least 1 House member. Our national legislative branch makes an annual budget that must be approved by the President. Obviously, the national executive branch, that is called the President. The President carries out, enforces, or executes the law of the land. He or she, however, does not make the law. They appoint the cabinets, the members of the U.S. Supreme Court, and all federal bureaucracies. And then, of course, the national court system is established by the Constitution. Supreme Court is the highest case court in the land. It can determine whether a law is unconstitutional or an executive act is unconstitutional. Supreme Court has the authority to look at any case it chooses. And then, of course, there is a federal court system established below. And again, what branch of government can declare laws unconstitutional?
Jose, could you come to the main lobby,
Judicial.
please, Jose?
The level of government makes laws dealing with curfews? Local. If someone violates the Constitution, what branch has the final say? Judicial. And I'll stop right there, but I just wanted to give you a basic overview of federalism. Again, it is sharing of power between national, state, and local. National government is supreme, powers go down to state, various then to local. Local could be viewed as a city, a town, or a county. I hope this helped you today. Again, review the chart. Looking back at the chart, and I hope you made something similar to this in class so you get an idea of how they all interact with one another, the various branches, and the various levels of government.